Shalom. Giving all praises to Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushai, your double honors to the apostles, elders of Great Millstone. May Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushai's peace be bestowed unto you, hopefully elect. I'm your brother Yahweh Call from Great Millstone, Orlando. This is just a real quick health tip. I'm gonna read this real quick before I play this video. And this is not in any means, I'm not giving out any medical information. All right. This is just for informational purposes. But I want to read this real quick because, let me just read it in Leviticus 17:11. Because meditating on this scripture more and more, it just makes sense more and more the more that I read on this scripture. Being that a lot of it's almost like when it comes to these diseases and things of that nature, somehow, in some way, shape, form, or fashion, it always ties back to the blood. So that's why I'm going to read this real quick in Leviticus 17:11. For the life of the flesh is in the blood. And I have given it to you upon the altar to make an atonement for your souls. For it is the blood that maketh an atonement for the soul. So again, because a lot of stem cells, in some way, shape, form, or fashion, these diseases, man, they deal with something dealing with the blood. It always seems like it always has something to do with the blood. You see, which, like, as I've read, the life force, basically, man, it's in the blood. So, with that being said, and being that apostles, elders, brothers are on the health tip, just putting that vibration. They've been putting that vibration out there, just as far as getting the health right. And something that I've been on, as the Lord has me going through a little something, health-wise. Really just been looking into, especially when it comes to the herbs and things of that nature. Really taking care of the blood. Because a lot of, and again, this is not medical information. I'm not giving out any type of medical advice. All right. But a lot of things could be solved just by simply, of course, your diet, what you put into your body. All right. But even more so, taking care of your blood. So, like I said, a lot of things, man, of what may appear to be irreversible, chronic illnesses, Esau, man, and that's one thing I push heavy, I believe wholeheartedly. Because, Esau, he pushes that once you get something, it's irreversible, there's no cure, right? Whatever the case may be. But Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai has something for everything out there. All right. Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai has something for everything out there, man. All right. And I do believe, because like I said, me myself dealing with certain issues, as well as other brothers. I'm talking about chronic illnesses and things of that nature. Because it does tell us in Obadiah, it's only one chapter, but it tells us that the Lord raising up saviors, right? Yahushua being that physician, the physician. Because as the scriptures say, Esau, how's it worded? How's it worded? Because when you go into the whole, when you go into what a doctor is, it goes into to falsify, right? So if anything, you want to see a physician, you know, if anything. And that's why Yahushua being the physician, Lord willing, we are those physicians under Yahushua, you know, under the physician, right? We are miniature shepherds under the shepherd, right? We are those beacons of light under the light, Yahushua, right? Damn, what's the scripture, man? It's on the tip of my tongue. He is a physician of no value. He's a physician of no value, right? And most of his, you know, when it comes to his sorcery, because that's what, pursuant to that Revelation 18, going into his sorceries, right? His witchcraft, right? You know, the pharmakias, you know, the 24/7 dope houses, 24/7 drug houses, right? It's not about witchcraft. You know, Esau, he's turned all the ordinances of Yahweh Shemashah upside down. So going back to the point I was making, I believe wholeheartedly, because, you know, this topic dealing with health, this is the only topic outside of the scriptures, the truth, health and fitness, just like the truth. You know, the truth is the rabbit hole gets deep. It's a never-ending process of just learn. You know, you're constantly learning. It's just a never-ending process of just knowledge. You know. So likewise, when it comes to the fitness and health, it's my favorite topic outside of the truth, because you're just always learning something. You know, there's always something to be learned. So with that being said, I believe Yahweh Shemashah has it to where certain brothers that do deal with these illnesses and things of that nature, and it might not even be like something chronic, just, you know, you might get a basic cold or whatever, right? I'm dealing with something right now, you know, been dealing with it all week. And I believe Yahweh Shemashah has us go through these diseases and, you know, things of that nature to get us familiar with the herbs, to get us familiar with this knowledge dealing with the herbs and health and things of that nature, you know, versus going down to these 24/7 dope houses, right? Being dependent on Esau, right? And things of that nature. You know, Yahweh Shemashah is making us knowledgeable. Again, when it comes to the herbs, because for one, the day is going to come when Esau's society collapses. All right. And brothers, for the most part, will have to know some, you know, have some knowledge dealing with the herbs. You know, some are more stronger than the others when it comes to the knowledge dealing with the herbs. But, you know, I do believe that Yahweh Shemashah has it set up that way for brothers to get knowledgeable with these with the herbs and things of that nature. You know. So with that being said, you know, that's what I was saying. That's why I said when it comes to Esau, man, this physician of no value. You know, he'll tell you that, hey, he'll diagnose you with something, right? Have you on A, B, and C, you know, as far as pills and medications, things of that nature, have you completely dependent on him, right? But Yahweh Shemashah has something for everything that's out there. There's no such thing as an incurable disease, you know. So, you know, with that being said, Salaki for the rambling. Because like I said, you know, this is my favorite topic outside of the truth. So, with that being said, I'm going to play this video because this is dealing with hypertension. It's a very common thing amongst so-called Black, Hispanic communities. But when you get into it, you study, right? It's really a simple thing, you know. Of course, with all things, it requires, because you know they talk about a diet, which a diet is more so like a short-term thing, right? A short-term goal. You trying to get in, you trying to fit into a certain size pants or dress or whatever, right? You know, when it comes to health and fitness and wellness and overall wellness, you want to think longevity. You know, it's a lifestyle. You know, it's a lifestyle. It's not a short-term thing. So with all that being said, because you know nothing happens overnight. All right. And it's just not going to be an easy fix, you know. But nevertheless, these things are reversible. All right. Through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shema Shai, you know, these things can be fixed. All right. So being that, again, this is one of the major things amongst so-called Black and Hispanic communities. All right. I'm gonna play this video real quick.
Of all high blood pressure diagnosis, 85% are what we call idiopathic, meaning they're of unknown origin. So you go to the doctor and they say, hey, you got high blood pressure. Well, what's wrong? Well, your EKG is normal, your EEG is normal, your heart and lung sounds are normal, your dye contrast study is normal, your cardiac catheterization is normal. We tested your heart every which way we could. There's nothing wrong with your heart. We're still going to medicate your heart anyway. You're going to get beta blocker, calcium channel blocker, diuretic. Even though we don't know what's wrong, we're still going to give you medication. You're going to be on this for the rest of your life. Well, then why do I have it? Well, because your father had it or your grandmother had it. That's patently false. The majority of what's happening is there's an amino acid in the blood called homocysteine. You have it, I have it, you have it, we all have it in our bloodstream. Some people have a genetic impairment where they don't metabolize this homocysteine very well. In other words, they don't break homocysteine down and turn it into harmless amino acid called methionine. You can take a simple amino acid called PMG. You could go to GNC and get it right now, $27 now. You could take this amino acid, you could begin to metabolize this homocysteine. What happens when homocysteine rises in the human bloodstream is, as it's cruising by the inside lining of the arteries, right, it irritates the artery. If you irritate an artery, it clamps down. If you make the pipe smaller in a fixed system, this is a closed system, pressure goes up. There's nothing wrong with your heart. Blood vessels are constricted. You take an amino acid, metabolize homocysteine, blood pressure, the vascular system relaxes, pressure.
So you see, when it comes to hypertension, man, well, you know, that's pretty much to sum it up in not so many words, man. It's just it's like if you have a running water hose, you have a running water hose, right? Water flows through that hose smoothly, you know, just fine. But the minute you squeeze it, you pinch the hose, it's going to cause that water to pressurize. All right. You know, it is going to cause that water to rush faster, you know, and that's essentially hypertension. All right. For whatever reason, you know, the arteries being clogged or constricted or whatever, this is what causes hypertension. You see, you know, so just think of it as that water hose. You pinch that water hose, it's going to cause that water to pressurize, you know, making the blood rush faster to the heart. You see, and of course, you know, they're not going to tell you this, you know, when you go to your physician of no value, right? Your physicians of no value, you know. So that's why I started off with that Leviticus 7. Oh shit. That's why I started off with that Leviticus 17 and 11. All right. As far as the life, man, the life force, you know, again, a lot of diseases, illnesses, and things of that nature. It just seems like in some way, shape, form, or fashion, man, it always ties back to the blood, and it makes sense, so therefore, hey, take care of your blood, you know, take care of your blood. And you'd be surprised, man, it'd be the little things. I get into the habit of just breathing exercises, just to, what do you call it, man? There's so many terms to it, man. Because like I said, man, it is a rabbit hole, man, and this rabbit hole gets deep. So I'll be forgetting the terms and whatnot because there's so much. You got the nitrate oxide, right? The oxygen, right? Just simple breathing exercises. You'll be surprised at the benefits of just simple breathing exercises. And what that could do, the benefits of just simple breathing exercises for your blood. It'd be the little things, little tweaks here and there. Like, again, our apostles, they teach us because for one, you can't live what's the word, man? Sedentary lifestyle, because, I'm on a plantation now. Little one that just got out the gym. A little one I get off, I'm gonna go for my morning walk, and things of that nature, Hey, you owe it to yourself, man. You owe it to Yahweh Shema Shai, and you owe it to yourself, because hey, our body is a sacrifice. We are the sacrifice. So you owe it to yourself, man. Take care of yourself. But again, just going back to the point again, that blood, man. A lot of issues come from the blood in some way, shape, form, or fashion. A lot of illnesses, it deals with the blood. So you get into it. All right. I also drink a lot of beet juice. Just things that relaxes those blood vessels, right? You want to keep them as smooth as possible, elastic as possible, because again, when they get too constricted for whatever reason, and that's when you develop all type of problems, clogged arteries, or whatever the case may be. So you want to get into the foods, right, that help relax, keep those blood vessels elasticated, right? Like I said, part of that, not living a sedentary lifestyle, all right, and things like that, man. Simple things like that, simple changes like that, and again, going to your physicians of no value, they're not going to tell you these things, because hey, there's big business when it comes to the whole health industry. All right, it's big business. This is why it's designed to not these people don't get paid to make cures. I'm trying to be as PG as 13. Yahweh Shema Shai, but I don't take this video down, because again, I'm not giving out any medical advice or information. All right. Hell, if anything, it's like, talking about these physicians of no values. Hey, again, because we're in Babylon, so don't be over righteous. There's nothing wrong with seeing your physician of no value, right? Get basic tests done just to see where you're at, see where just see what you could work on. Because I've said this before, and this is another thing that I preach. When it comes to these physicians of no values, they are there for you. You're not there for them. All right, they're there for you. So remember that. All right, just because they tell you this and that, and try to put you on this and that, man. Ultimately, you got to make your own decisions. All right, and that's why, hey, pray to Yahweh Shema Shai. All right, you can always counsel with brothers or whatever the case may be. But again, they're there for you. You're not there for them. So just remember that. All right, I know, the physician of no values that I see, man, and they Elam, so it's bad enough they don't like niggas, you know. But I don't let them just put me on anything, you know. Like I said, man, I get certain tests done just to see where I'm at, man. Just to see where I'm at with it, you know. Use those resources, using the word but not abusing it, you know. But something basic, man. You know, there's something what Esau overcomplicate, but you'd be surprised at the simple, basic life changes. All right, and again, it is a lifestyle. All right, you want to think longevity, long term. All right, you know. Again, man, all going back to that blood, man. You know, keeping healthy bloodstream. All right, healthy blood. What do you got? I mean, there's so many herbs dealing with blood. You got burdock. What is that? Burdock wood, right? It cleanses the blood. I mentioned the beet juice. You know, basic stuff that we know. You know, basic stuff that we know that we have. You know, that garlic, man. You know, that garlic is a powerhouse. You know, you know, the main ingredient with that garlic is that what do you call it? That acetylene. You know, when you crush garlic, you let it sit for 10-15 minutes, it gets that moisture. You know, that's the main component that you'd want to get from that garlic, that acetylene, right? Acts as a natural blood thinner. You know, and then that's just one of many of the benefits dealing with garlic, right? Like I said, basic stuff that we know, man. You know, the cayenne pepper, right? In some cases, it's been reported that if you're about to have a heart attack, man, you take some cayenne pepper, man. You know, so you know, you'd be surprised, man. You know, you'd be surprised, man. You know, that blood flow, man. That blood, keep that blood healthy. You know, but like I said, man, this is a topic that excites me. Outside of the truth, man, it's my favorite topic to get into. So I'll be here all day, damn near. You know, speaking on it. But Lord willing, this was edifying, giving all praises to Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai. Shalom to you, hopefully, elect.